Hi, I'm Gina Ventola, practice manager for Ventola Law. One of the best parts of my job is meeting with business owners. However, at times, it can be difficult to meet in person. That's why I started this show, to introduce you to local business owners in our community. Join me on Your Virtual Coffee, a new kind of networking. Hey everybody, welcome to Your Virtual Coffee, the web show which introduces you to great local businesses in the Denver metro area. My guest today is the amazing Stefan Burris. He is a realtor with the Generations team of Your Castle Real Estate. A motivated thought leader and expert in his field, Stefan drives business in a consultative way to create trusting relationships with clients. Having worked for international firms, providing culturally sensitive insight and working with multiple personalities in the workplace is a true motivator for him. And with that, Stefan, welcome to Your Virtual Coffee.
Thank you, Gina. Nice to be here.
Stefan, if it's all right with you, can we kind of let the audience get to know you a little bit?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Where did you grow up?
So I am actually a true Denver native. I grew up in the Highlands neighborhood. Back then it was not called the Highlands, it was called the North Side. So it's become a different part of town now from when I was small. But my parents still live in the same 105-year-old home that I grew up in, and I have seen the neighborhood go from the north side to the, quote, Highlands, which has been a lovely transformation, and I'm enjoying every part of it. The restaurants are great, and everything about it is pretty awesome.
What do you like to do for fun?
So typically, I like to travel. So I really love to work hard and play hard. And travel is one of the biggest things that I work hard to do. So traveling internationally is what I love. So typically, if I can swing it, I like to go to Europe at least once a year. Maybe not Europe. A couple years ago, I went to Asia. That was fun too. But some of my favorite countries are in Scandinavia. I actually studied abroad in Denmark for about a year when I was in college. And I actually really love Norway. I'm a big skier, so I've actually skied in Norway, and I love the Norwegian culture as well.
So I was just going to ask you what specifically about the Norwegian culture.
You know, it's just, they're really low key. They end their workday at 3:30 from my observation, and they go ski. So it's just kind of a really interesting, you know, it's not super high strung. They have a great work ethic, but they really like to balance their lives. They don't work all the time. They have family, you know, their family, their love of family really shows. I mean, they really enjoy spending time together. So that's one of the main reasons I like it. Also, it's really beautiful. The fjords and the mountains and ice and snow, and in the summer it's really green. So that's one of the biggest reasons.
What about, I'm going to shift gears a little bit if that's all right.
Yeah.
What about working in real estate? Really intrigues you, really gets you excited out of bed in the morning?
Right. So real estate has been a really good career for me so far. I actually really love architecture and design. So for me, being able to go into homes that, you know, for example, right now we have a listing that was built in 1885. So that's a really cool old Victorian. And then we have some other clients that are looking at more modern homes, and I really like those as well. So for me, the really fun part about real estate is seeing the architecture and seeing the transformations in flips, for example, before and after photos. I mean, that to me is really interesting. And I like seeing what other people, do and how their creativity shines through in their work.
So the house that you said 1888, is that correct?
85. But
85.
Yeah.
Is that more, does it have more what they call arts and crafts type of
No,
interior?
so it is a true Victorian. So when you think Victorian, you think probably a 2-story tall home with multiple colors painted on the, this home specifically, I think, has 8 different colors, exterior colors. So it's just, that Victorian look. If you think of like San Francisco, the houses on the hills that are very colorful and kind of tall and narrow, that's this house. And there are quite a few in Denver, specifically in Lower Highlands. It's a very, very old part of town. It's in the historic Potter Highlands district.
And that's actually, you just hit on one of the things. I used to travel to San Francisco for work quite a bit. And so when you hit on that, it's like, it's such a visual, to see that. I mean, just really gorgeous.
Absolutely. And they had fireplaces in every room. They, just different way of building homes back then.
So Stefan, as a realtor, what is an issue that would keep your client up at night, and how do you solve it?
Yeah, so, I actually have a pretty good example right now. We have, oftentimes, lending is something that can really, stop a transaction. So, for example, right now, we have some clients that are trying to purchase a 4-plex on the east side of town, and they are trying to do it using a loan that is an FHA loan. And there are certain requirements to pass the FHA appraiser's inspection, and one of which is making sure that there's no peeling paint or chipped wood or anything that would potentially cause weather or exterior moisture to come in. So, I know for a fact that something like this would keep someone up at night because our client has told us. But, the biggest thing is trying to work around that, trying to find a solution. So we actually know different painting companies that will allow you, they'll perform the work, and then you can actually pay them at closing. So the title company at closing can actually cut them a check, and it's really no out-of-pocket expense up front for the seller, which is good. I mean, if you're trying to sell a home that you have decent equity in, you can, find a solution, like I just said, to not have huge out-of-pocket expenses up front. We can figure it out. But that, for example, is something that was keeping this client up at night, thinking they were going to have a $25,000, bill to have their building painted, and luckily they won't. It should work out in the end.
Wow, that is quite helpful, because I imagine the fear, of closing, or rather the fear of not closing, would definitely keep someone in. And I'm assuming here, if it's a 4-plex, it's probably going to be rental property. And so, the lack of being able to rent them out for this reason, I would think would be very overwhelming.
Well, and it's just, again, the type of loan. So, different loans have different requirements. There are USDA loans, there are VA loans, and all of them have specific requirements that you need to have in order to have the loan close. So just, something we deal with every day.
So it sounds like what you do is you're present with circumstances as a realtor, and sometimes the solution may be something that may be unconventional or maybe not the status quo answer.
Right.
Would that be right?
Yeah, and that's one reason I really enjoy being at the Denver Chamber is there are so many different people that you're connected with that can potentially help out and help you find solutions to issues or potential issues. It's really good to know different contractors and to understand what can be done, because it's, at the end of the day, it's all about the solution to get it done.
Exactly. I think you hit the nail on the head right there with it's all about the solution.
Exactly.
Well, speaking of solution, what is one thing that you would like a potential client to know?
So I do know oftentimes some of the feedback that I get personally is that people enjoy seeing that I'm a problem solver. So there are a lot of potential items that can pop up during a transaction. Real estate is not always the most enjoyable thing for people to do. Buying or selling, it can be a very emotional thing, and especially when it comes to people having to sell for specific reasons like divorce or something like that. It just isn't always a walk through a field of daisies. So for me, really trying to be a problem solver and really trying to understand, if we have a list of items that need, an inspection item list that needs to be worked on, maybe instead of waiting for the other agent to come up with a number, I typically get right on it with getting contractors in. If it's an old furnace, getting an HVAC person in, just understanding what the cost will be up front so that we're not trying to, flail and figure it out down the road. I like doing things sooner than later. I don't like to procrastinate. So
That's why we're friends.
having info up front and being prepared to negotiate is, for me, really important. And oftentimes I actually have the leg up on the other agent because they may not have done any of that work, So for me, I really want people to know that I try to be a problem solver, and I try really hard to be prepared up front, because in real estate, they go quickly, and you have to be ready. There are dates and deadlines that we have to meet, and just have to be ready to go.
Stefan, let's talk about power partners.
Okay.
And for our audience, power partners are those businesses who target your ideal client but are not your competition. An example I like to use is a hairstylist and a personal trainer. They both target that ideal client of someone who wants to look good or someone who wants to improve.
Mm-hmm.
And so they can work together and in various ways, and they can refer people back and forth. And so it's actually a great business type relationship. So with that overly complicated explanation, Stefan, who is your ideal client?
Well, so it's funny you mentioned hairstylists and trainers. We've actually received referrals from both. So it could be anyone. My power partners can be anyone who knows someone who is looking to buy or sell real estate. But typically, some of the more common power partners for me are lenders and financial advisors. I've had a few referrals from interior designers, which is nice. It could be anyone. It could be contractors, roofers, plumbers, anyone who may be in a home that they are getting ready to sell, that is a great insight sometimes for people. They might just say in passing, oh, I'm doing this so I can put my house on the market. And then they can ask, do you have an agent that you prefer to list your home? And they may, that's fine. And then other times they might not. And it's a referral.
So let's take a step back for a second, because those are actually great examples of power partners.
Yep.
So your ideal client, you kind of alluded to it. You said anyone who wants to buy or sell their home, would that be? Okay.
Yeah.
So anyone who falls into that, and who else serves those people? You mentioned financial planners. Mm-hmm. I'm thinking, events, things that trigger events such as, the birth of a child. So maybe someone who deals with children or deals with families, maybe an event planner in that context, or someone, I'm getting a little off track here. I'm thinking more of family law attorneys or law firms, probate law firms, because we do probate as well. And we've had that experience where we have clients that, inherited mom's home and they need to sell it. And so it's always kind of nice to have someone who can walk you through that process. And that's not really something we as a law firm can do, because it's not something our particular firm does. We can help through the probate process, but someone like you would be very beneficial in the actual selling of mom's home process. So I'm thinking probate attorneys as well. So probate attorneys, family law attorneys, call Stefan. You guys work this out. With that being said, what is the best way for those attorneys to reach out to you?
So my contact info is right in my LinkedIn profile, which I think you're going to tag me in on this video.
Yes.
So literally my cell phone number is I think in my, right near my name towards the top of my profile. So you can call me, or my email address is also in my profile. So either way, call, text, or email. Those are, I have my phone on me all the time. So any of the above.
That's great. And we will also include a slide in this video that will have your contact information. That's usually how I kind of like to end our shows, is to kind of leave the contact information up for a little bit so that people can really see your information. So watch to the end of the video, people.
Great.
Any last thoughts, Stefan?
No, but I wanted to add, don't always believe what you hear in the media. I think recently we've heard that the average cost of a home in Denver is $600,000 or more. And really that just has to do with lack of inventory at the lower end. So there are still properties out there that are under 600,000, but make sure you do your research or talk to a realtor that I look at data and information all the time. It's what our firm is known for. So don't believe all the media and all the hype. It's not the end of the world. That, things are still affordable if you can find them. We're out there every day looking at different price points. So
I love that so much. Stefan, thank you for coming on my show.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
Audience, thank you for joining us today on Your Virtual Coffee. We could not do this show without you. Thank you for watching. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, which should be button right down here. At Your Virtual Coffee, we love business owners. So entrepreneurs, business owners, let's talk. Your Virtual Coffee is sponsored by Ventola Law. Ventola Law, mediation and legal representation at an expert level. You can find them at ventolalaw.com. Thanks for joining me today. For more information on Your Virtual Coffee, check us out on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and wait for it, our website at yourvirtualcoffee.com. Thanks again for watching, and have an incredible day.